I'm Toby and this is Sea Life.
Good morning. We are doing day 3 of this fencing. So what we have right now is we have all the T-posts down, all the wire except for just these 2 posts here are disconnected, and we're ready to roll it up. So what we're going to do is we're going to pick it up and then we're going to move it to the far side of the property to help get that completed. Hopefully we don't have to buy any more wire.
Yeah,
We should have that done today.
Yeah, this is a money-saving idea, moving one fence to where you need it. Just making a paddock a little bit bigger and not having to buy any more fencing. It sure does save money. Oh. I was saying that Daniel just made a very important statement. When he dropped a U-nail, he said, could you please pick that right back up? So I helped him. Because if that had gotten in an animal's hoof, that would be a horrible thing to have to combat. Got it loose at this end, and to start rolling, he's gonna fold over a little part and hook the wire right along. I don't know if you can see. Yeah, he just makes little tags and hooks them over, and then he's ready to begin the roll. And I was telling Daniel I'm making this video as much for myself as I am for anybody else. If I ever had to do this by myself, I could just look back on that video. I love YouTube for this. Common situation is your brush that you had down under the fence gets caught in it. So yeah, you may have to do a little wrestling like Daniel's having to do. And then I've watched him straighten the roll up. You see how it's coming on the ends. It's not as together as he'd like it to be. So I'm gonna get a picture of how he deals with that as well, so that see right here
It's hanging out on this
how
one?
it's
I'm just going to kind of grab it here.
just grab it
Work it in.
and work it in. That's how you do it. And
So we pulled this out of the box. So first thing we're going to do is we're going to check and make sure that the chain is tight. So we're going to pull out on the chain. The chain, when you pull out, should be, let me get my glove out of the way so you can see, should be no more than about right there when you pull on it. Okay, mine's doing a little further, so we're going to let it go for now because I'm not really cutting that much. Then I want to check and make sure I got plenty of oil, bar oil. This is this one here in the front. This has got an automatic bar oiler, so that means that I don't have to pump it during the cuts or after the cuts. Okay, and then gas. I want to check the gas, make sure I got plenty of gas. All right, I got enough for the job. It's about half a tank right now. So we're good for right now. Now we're going to go into starting. Everything seems to be good, so we're going to go into starting. First thing I got to do is pump the ball. Now, I kind of go by feel. When it starts getting hard, and then I look at it, this ball should be about full, which should be somewhere between 6 and 8 pumps. Okay. Then I need to make sure my switch is on. Some switches look a little different, but this one has a regular toggle switch on it. Alright. And then I'm going to pull out my choke. I'm going to pull out the choke all the way until it tries to start. When the chainsaw tries to start, then we're going to push in the choke.
okay,
So
let's see it.
okay, there's the try to start. So I'm going to push it in. So it's actually on this chainsaw, by pushing it all the way in, it's still on half choke. So we're going to leave it on half choke.
Right.
know we stopped filming after I got the. I know we stopped filming after we got the chainsaw started, but I had to let it run on half choke for a little while to let it warm up. These Echo chainsaws don't like running when they're cold, so you got to let it warm up pretty good before you can actually start using it and it working correctly. The warmer it gets, the better the chainsaw runs on this type. My Poland that I have, that's a 20-inch blade for bigger jobs. That thing is almost as soon as you get it running, it's ready to go and can just run and be used, and it runs great.
Okay. Okay, Daniel's got a this post cut, and he put 45-degree ends at each end. And the reason is that's going to be the crossbar to his holding posts for the ends, for this middle section. So that's where we're at.
I'm going to take my Crossmember here, and I'm going to take that and I'm going to set it up here where how I think it should be. And so my post now needs to sit right there at the end down there. So I just need to mark that spot right there. So there's where my post needs to go.
There's this little mark. All right. So that's how you tell how to set that cross member in. These are older post hole diggers, so we don't have to dig very far to set this little crossbar in.
I was doing a bunch of them.
So here it is. He's going to set that cross member he cut right up against that post and up against the other post, and then he's just going to nail it in. Okay, Daniel's going to just roll this big old row up the hill here, up this little hill, this little ditch, and release it at the side. And I'll probably just stand on it here for him. Would that be good?
I could take one of these fence posts and put on it.
Yeah, or we could take a fence post and put on it. And he's just going to roll this down this line as best he could. You want your trusty wire cutters with you. These make everything so nice. And it's nearly impossible to do fencing without wire cutters. Now what he's doing right now is just trimming out the little ends so he can wrap wires around this post. And therefore really secure this wire onto the post. And personally, I think this can be the trickiest part. Cutting enough wire that you can actually wrap it around that post and then bend it back on itself. So let me see if you can really see how he's working that wire. Like he said, it's not rocket science, but it sure helps to have a little experience or have someone who has experience to show you. So this video will really help me out if I ever have to do this by myself.
Give me those wire cutters again.
Okay. And there they are. So, yep, for this job you certainly have to have some wire cutters, a chainsaw to cut your, or some type of saw to cut your 45-degree angles on your posts, and a wagon would have helped to bring posts back from the other fence, a shovel, post hole digger, yes, hammers, and U-nails. And these are U-nails. If you know, some of you may not know what a U-nail is, but that...
Or it's also referred to as a fencing staple.
Yeah, they can be referred to as fencing staples as well. So, Daniel's having a little bit of a wrestle with that bottom, and that's just the nature of the job there.
Because I got the other wires run on it.
Yeah, because he's already got some other wire run on this other post. Because, you know, you've got to know how to mend it as well. And this is one thing, before we had a homestead, I really never thought of how much there is to fencing. So Daniel's gone and he's got his come along, and then he's taken his tanker's bar and put through the fence at this end, and he's hooking the come along, ratcheting the come along to the truck. And this is his ingenuity and way to do this fence stretching, which is kind of I'd say it's about 80 foot of fencing. And he's going to stretch the 80 foot of fencing from one end, from this other end of the fence. And we're going to start standing it up. And this is all it is. Setting your ratchet and working the handle. And that actually is, the other end is of course attached to the other pole. And here he goes. We're gonna start nailing this fence in. It's a little windy, so I hope we don't pick up on too much wind. But yep, you'll need your trusty hammer for this and those U-nails.
Make a fencing tool. I just find that it's easier to use a hammer.
Daniel says they do make a fencing tool, but he finds it easier to use a hammer. We find it important to hold the back of the post when you're going to drive these U-nails in. I do what's called towing this fence line down. When it sits up high off the ground like that, you just come and step down on it and hold it so that it can be nailed in. And Daniel said that he'll give us a how to hammer in barbed nails lesson. So barbed staples, that is, barbed staples. You got any tips, Daniel?
Okay. So, as you see, this is what a staple looks like. Okay. So what you do is you take it up there to the line and then put the two like that. So it's right up against it on the bottom, one up right up against it on the top, and then just nail it in and pray you don't bend it over.
There you have it. How to hammer in barbed staples. We're just putting a few more posts in to be sure that our little, our fence is nice and tight and our sheep don't get out and nothing gets in with them. And this is how you slide that on there.
Well, that worked.
He's figured out how to do it without me. So by the time I get to the Dodge and back, I don't know if he'll have this all done or not.